XTU Pro Max. Can it compete with GoPro Hero 7 Black or even the Action 2 from DJI? Let's take a look. Guys, welcome to Scott's Reviews, where we look at cameras, speakers, lights, all that kind of stuff. Today we're talking about the XTU Pro Max, which is a new iteration of the XTU line regarding action cameras. We had the XTU S3 a while back. We did 4K 30, but not 4K 60. So they bumped up the frame rate with this camera. And like on the video I did before, we have a 1/2.3 sensor. We have a faster processor for the chipset inside. So all positive things regarding the update. But this video is going to be more about footage. So if you want to pixel peep on footage, we have daytime stuff, we have snow stuff, we have pool, we have some photos, and some nighttime stuff to look at. So after using this camera for a little while, let me run down the positive things from it, and then we'll talk about the negative things. And we're going to cover all that here after you watch the footage. So after you watch enough, and you want to hear my conclusion at the end, fast forward to the end and catch that, or watch the whole thing, and we'll talk about it. If you're really serious about buying this camera, I suggest you watch the footage and form your own opinion on what it looks like and whether it will work for you. Okay, let's go. I want to bust my butt, Lulu. Woo! Dangerous. Dangerous. All right, folks. What do we have this morning? Well, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time you're watching this. But we are looking at the XTU Pro Max versus the GoPro Hero 7. Yes, sir. That's what we're doing today. What is that noise? Shitter's full. Oh, getting the snowblower ready. We're supposed to get some snow this Sunday, but we shall see. All right. Wind in the background. So 4K 30 on both. Low sharpness on both. Yeah, that's pretty much the same. Both have EV negative 0.05 or 0.5. So why these two cameras again? Just I think the most, for cost-wise, direct comparison, I think this is probably the best two to look at. And I'm really still impressed with the GoPro Hero 7. So I really want to see what it does against the XTU. Lulu, should we do some running? All right, we'll do some running. Stabilization's on high on both. Yeah. All right, let's run up here. Oh, I do have the external microphone, the little hooky thing on the XTU, and it's just the internal microphone from the GoPro. There's no reason to do a comparison with these two. The XTU may sound okay if we have no wind, but a little bit of wind, it picks it up bad. It's not good. That's why they give you all that stuff with it. It would be a lot better if I put the foamy thing around it, then it would be fine. That's not like doing that. So I added a little extra microphone. I think it does pretty good with the wind. It makes it sound better. So that's what I'll use. If GoPro offered something like that for free inside, I would do that. But they don't. As they walk across the valley of death. Okay, this is where the XTU could win. So GoPro here had to do 2.7K 30 frames for super view, and we have 4K 30 for super or wide view for the XTU. So take a look at my head. Is it shrink down any? Is it smushed? How does the GoPro look? Is that camera, hold on, is that wind muff in view? Yeah, it is. Point that down. I don't know. Is that any better? All right, wide view. See if we lose any of the stabilization effect. See if we lose any of the stabilization effect. So we're gonna take some photos. All right, we're just switch it to 4K 60. So one thing I didn't like was they have a slow motion for XTU function. You can record 4K 60 in post and slow it down yourself, or they have a mode you click slow motion and the first option is 4K 60 and they slow it down for you. So that's pretty cool with no loss of the 4K, you could say. Now, how is the slow motion? Well, I think the first time I did it, I had on medium sharpness. I'm hoping low sharpness kind of corrects that. It makes it look a little bit better because it was kind of, there was something weird about it when it slowed it down. So I just filmed this whole thing and the XTU filmed in slow motion. So I don't know how that happened. So this is the best setup for the XTU. 4K 30. I'm set on the XTU. Using the audio from the DJI Action 2 internally with the dual screen on. Exposure is not compensating here very well. There we go. See, look at that difference. How fast it fixes the exposure. A little jog. Look at the blade to the grass. Well, XTU, it's been fun. I think you got some work to do to get fixed, but it was fun to play with you, and I appreciate XTU sending this out to me for a review. If you're interested in this product, link down below. There's links provided. You can go check it out, do some research of your own, make a decision, and maybe you buy one. Using a B camera on the side, something like that, but that's what you can do. All right, this is it. Walk through the house real quick. I have it set up just like this because this is probably the best way to use this camera. Let's talk about sound. I left some of the things in the footage where it popped. So there were a lot of peaking going on with this camera. Warning, if you're going to use the camera with the internal microphones, it does peak very easily. These microphones, one right here, and where's the other one? Oh, right here on the side, that might be a speaker, are very sensitive in nature. So if you have wind anywhere involved, it gets loud. If you scrape or bump it, it gets very loud. So if you were looking to do a vlog style of shoot where you're going to talk to the camera, definitely put this on, or maybe the foamy thing around it completely to use it that way, if you're going to possibly get it wet. If you're not going to get wet at all, this one, if there's a possibility to get wet, then use the foamy thing and you can just dry that off later. Other than that, the sound's okay. With this microphone, it sounds pretty good. Of course, if you had your own external microphone with a micro USB, you can use it that way to get even better sound. There's no jack involved. You have to find a adapter of sorts to try to make that work. I haven't ventured into that to see if the wireless Go works with that. But if that's something you wanted to go for, go for. Okay, that's sound. Let's talk about image quality. This is where it kind of suffers. Lower light is not very good. The GoPro Hero 7 beat it there. Out in the sunshine, nice bright sunny day, it does fine. Most action cameras do very well in the bright sunshine. That's what they're kind of made for. And this one does pretty well also. Again, when it starts to get darker or overcast, you can see a lot of grain in the footage with the XTU. But bright, beautiful sunshine, it looks good. Stabilization is decent. GoPro 7 does a better job. The Action 2, of course, does a lot better job, but we're talking a lot difference in price, a hugely difference in price. So your standard walking and talking is going to be fine. Fast movement kind of thing is, there's no horizon leveling thing on here, but it does a pretty decent job to stabilize the footage. Photos, raw photos, 20 megabytes is the way to go. But the thing is, finding a software in post afterwards to use it is difficult. My Lightroom didn't recognize the raw photos, it recognized the JPEGs, but not the RAW. iPhoto didn't recognize the RAW photo. Maybe with the update later on, these things will be noticed. But right now, I couldn't find a program to use it where RAW photos were recognized. So I really can't tell you exactly how the RAW photos will look. JPEGs were okay. They kind of actually beat the GoPro here and there when I use GoPro Super Photo. Yeah, photos were okay. Again, it's an action camera. We don't really use these things for photos. It's kind of like the last minute photo you can grab while you're in the water. You want to take a picture of something real quick. So the chipset inside does a lot better job when it comes to moving through the menu system of the camera with just popping through fast, no problem, no delays, no waiting. So there's a lot of options. Like most of these cameras have a lot of things you can do. Long exposure, I did try that with the cars streaking by with their lights. So there's some fun things you can try with this thing. Again, you buy this camera because you want something decent, but not expensive. And this is what this is. Decent, not expensive, but it's not gonna really compete very well against the GoPros of the day or the DJI Action. So that's where you kind of need to gauge what you want. This guy comes with a lot of stuff. I didn't even use most of the stuff that came with it, like the remote that went around your wrist like a watch and you could start and stop it. It works fine, it works good, but I didn't use it. It has a lot of attachments that come with it. So when you buy this one, you have a lot of stuff off the bat right away that you can use versus the GoPro, which gives you like one or two things and that's it. So you have to kind of build your accessories when it comes to the GoPro. Let me know what you thought of the footage down below and whether you just, if you're going to pick one of these up. Grab my links below, it'd be great if you could do so. Out of 1 out of 10, 10 being the perfect action camera. Now the perfect action camera for me would be something like a RX0 1-inch sensor style of camera with the stabilization of the DJI Action or the GoPro Hero 10 stabilization. All that jazz into a 1-inch sensor would be a 10. Right? So that's high expectations. The camera doesn't exist yet, but that's my 10. That's my rating that's out there. I give the Action 2 probably an 8.5, almost to a 9 when it comes to image quality and stabilization. It's got some other quirky things that it has issues with these two things connecting correctly, but that'll be another video. The GoPro 7, I would give probably a 7. For its time. The GoPro 10, I would probably give it 8.5, close to what the Action 2 can do. So that's my gauge. So I would give this guy probably a 5. Yeah, that would be it, a 5. So it's got some good things, it's got some negative things, but in bright sunshine, you can see toward the last part of my footage when I was outside, it actually looked a little bit better than the Action 2. The Action 2 had a little overexposure on my face, and this guy seemed the perfect exposure out of the box. So there are things you can do with the XTU that I did in the pool to make it look like the GoPro color. So XTU, to make it look the best, you would have to basically go in post and work with it versus out of the box of the GoPro. So if you're not looking to do any type of post-production work, then you might want to look at the GoPro. If you don't mind using stuff in post, then XTU can be fun to play with and make it look how you want it to look. The only thing you can't fix is noise and grain. You can denoise it, but it's going to make it look kind of soft. So that's where that's where you find issues in this guy, is noise and grain. All right, that's my honest review of this guy. Let me know what you think. You guys stick around for another review, and all the way to do that is to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out. All right, enjoy your YouTubing.